You're not welcome at Christmas until you apologize. That's what my mother said to me, cold, final, like I was a stranger at the door, and in the background I heard my uncle laugh. What none of them knew was that for 6 years I had been the reason they had a Christmas at all. $77,000 gone in the pockets of people who just looked at me out of cold. This year, Santa retired. If you've ever been taken for granted by the people who you were supposed to love the most, this story is going to hit you differently. Hit that subscribe button right now, because on this channel we tell the stories no one dares to say out loud. Like this video, drop a comment telling me, have you ever been the invisible one in your own family? Let's get into it. My name is Eva, and for 6 years I was my family's secret Santa. Not the warm, cheery kind who gets milk and cookies left out on the mantel, the kind who gets used, mocked and forgotten. It started when I was 26. I had just landed my first real job as a financial analyst. Years of grinding, studying, surviving on instant noodles, and for the first time in my life I had actual money coming in. That first November, my mother Cara called. Her voice had that particular texture I'd known my whole life, soft on the surface with something heavy pressing beneath it. Eva, sweetheart, you know how tight things are for your cousins this year. Kevin lost his job again, and little Anna, she really wants that dollhouse. She let the silence breathe, she always did. I was standing in my tiny apartment at the time, bare walls, second-hand furniture, a Christmas tree I'd made out of stacks of books because I couldn't afford a real one, and I thought about the dollhouse I never had as a child. Of course, Mom, how much do you need? Oh, just a few hundred, sweetheart. You're such a good daughter. That a few hundred became $800 by Christmas Eve. I bought Anna her dollhouse, I bought Kevin's son Joshua a bike, I added smaller gifts for every cousin so no one would feel left out, and when I saw Anna's face on Christmas morning through a shaky cell phone video call with my auntie, every overdrawn dollar felt worth it. That was my first mistake, not the giving, the believing that generosity would be recognized. Because here's the brutal truth about being kind in a family that doesn't value you. They don't see your kindness, they see a resource. The second year my mother called earlier, October this time. Eva, you were so wonderful last year. The kids still talk about Christmas. Could you work your magic again? Your magic, as if I was a fairy godmother, not her daughter spending her own money, skipping vacations, working weekends. By year 3, they stopped asking altogether. Instead, I started receiving links, text messages, forward Amazon wish lists, notes that read, Maria's birthday is coming up, Joshua needs school clothes. Oh, and Auntie Amanda had been eyeing this purse. I became the family's invisible bank, the silent engine behind every birthday, every holiday, every occasion. And the cruelest part, they posted everything on Facebook, photos of the gifts I bought, captions with things like, so blessed by family generosity. No mention of me, no thanks, no acknowledgement. At the family's dinners I did attend, they would joke right in front of me about how I was too busy working to understand the true joy of giving. I understood it perfectly. I gave everything. While they took all the credit, by year 6 I crossed a threshold I didn't even see coming. $15,000 in a single year, on a family that treated me like an inconvenience at their own table. I would show up exhausted, extra shifts already worked, extra hours already spent, and sit there watching them tear open gifts and thank each other, and still I kept going. I told myself maybe this time someone will notice. Maybe this Christmas I'll finally feel like I belong. But belonging was never a part of the arrangement. I was a wallet, a silent, smiling, never complaining wallet. Then came last November. The family group chat came alive with Christmas plans. Auntie Amanda was hosting in the new house she'd bought with a down payment that included a loan from me that has never once been mentioned again. Messages flew. I can't wait to see everyone. This is going to be our best Christmas yet. I typed silently. What should I bring? Silence. Then my phone rang. My mother's voice was ice. Eva, we need to talk. It's about what you did to Amanda at Thanksgiving. At Thanksgiving, I had done something unforgettable in my family's eyes. I had asked a question. Amanda had been crying to everyone about how tight money was, couldn't even afford groceries, while just weeks earlier she posted casino photos with the caption Big Night. I pulled her aside and quietly asked why she needed to borrow money for groceries when she'd been at the casino. She bursted into tears, locked herself in the bathroom, the whole evening derailed. You embarrassed her, my mother said. You made her feel horrible. I just asked a question. You're not welcome at Christmas, she said. Not until you give her a proper apology. And then I heard it in the background, my Uncle Paul laughing. She'll give in, he said, like I wasn't on the phone, like I was predictable. She always does. Then my cousin Stephen's voice. Eva loves playing the victim. The woman had spent $77,000 on this family. The victim, I hung up. That night, I sat in my apartment and stared at my phone, waiting for one text, one call, one cousin, anyone, to reach out and say, this is wrong, you belong with us. No one did. 3 nights I couldn't sleep. I replayed every Christmas, every birthday, every moment I smiled with a full heart while being treated like background noise. On the 4th night, something in me went very quiet. Not sad, not angry, just done. I opened my laptop. 6 years of Amazon store orders, store receipts, bank transfers, credit card statements. I added them up slowly, line by line. 67,432. I had spent more on this family than most people spend on a car. On people who had just banned me from Christmas dinner. I sat with that number for a long time. Then I started printing. Every receipt, every order confirmation, every wire transfer. Page after page after page. A mountain of proof that their magical Christmases had been built entirely on my money and their silence. Then I opened my accounts and looked at this year's orders. Because they were already placed, already expectant. A PlayStation for Joshua, a professional art set for Anna, designer boots for Maria, a high-end toolkit for Kevin, diamond dropped earrings for Amanda, a premium whiskey collection for Paul, all ordered through my accounts, all still cancelable. I picked up my phone and I started kicking. The PlayStation cancelled, the art supplies cancelled, the designer boots cancelled, the diamond earrings gone, the whiskey collection gone. One by one, 6 years of Christmas magic disappeared with each quiet, deliberate tap of my finger. What remained was hollow placeholder boxes, last-minute cheap backups, empty promises under a glistening tree, and I wasn't finished. I compiled everything. Screenshots, receipts, bank transfers, the messages where they sent me links without even a please. 6 years of evidence, organized and documented. For the first time in years, I felt something I barely recognized, power. Christmas Eve arrived. My phone filled with photos from the celebrations, the tree, the decorations, the matching pajamas I had bought 2 years ago that they were still wearing. They looked so happy, so expectant. I turned my phone upside down, made myself a cup of tea. Christmas morning came cold and grey. At 7:47 a.m. the first message hit. Eva, did you order Joshua's PlayStation? It never arrived. Then another. The jewellery I ordered isn't here. Did you use a different delivery service? I almost laughed out loud. They still thought the gifts came from each other. Then the tone shifted. Half the presents are missing. This is a disaster. My phone rang. My mother. Something is wrong, she said. Her voice crackled. All the good gifts are missing. Did you do something? I don't know what you mean, I replied calmly. I wasn't invited, remember? Don't play games. What orders? I asked innocently. Silent, then softer. Eva, please. The children are upset. Can we fix this? Can we? I said. Because last I checked I wasn't welcome. I hung up. Messages poured in, angry ones, confused ones, bargaining ones, but not a single apology. That evening I opened the family group chat one final time. I posted a photo. 6 years of receipts, statements and order confirmations, stacked, printed. The caption read, Merry Christmas from your Secret Santa. I hope you enjoyed 6 years of my generosity. Unfortunately, Santa has officially retired. Then I left the group chat. The reactions came fast. Fury from Amanda, guiltless voicemails from my mother, a manipulative, calculated message from Paul suggesting I had always been dramatic, and then something unexpected. Anna, now 16, messaged me privately. I remember you always asked what I wanted for Christmas. Every single year it was you, wasn't it? All these years. I stayed at her message for a long time. Yes, sweetheart, it was me. I'm sorry they treated you that way. Thank you for everything. I cried harder at that message than I had at anything else, because it reminded me why I started giving in the first place. Not for credit, not for validation, for love. A love, real love, had found me anyway, just not from the people I expected. A week later, my mother appeared at my apartment door. You can't just abandon your family, she said. We're your family. Family doesn't exclude you for telling the truth, I replied. Family doesn't mock you while spending your money. She went silent. We didn't know it was you, she said finally. You never asked. What do you want from us? I looked at her for a long moment. Nothing, I said. Absolutely nothing. And for the first time in 6 years, I meant it completely. That Christmas was the first in 7 years I spent entirely on my own terms. I bought myself gifts. I decorated my home exactly the way I wanted. I invited friends who wanted my presents, not my purchasing powers. And on Christmas morning I laughed. Real laughter, the kind that comes from a chest that is finally free. Here is what 6 years and $67,000 taught me. Love without respect is not love, it is exploitation dressed in holiday dressing. And sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is the courage to stop funding the people who have mistaken your kindness for weakness. The best revenge isn't anger, it's simply refusing to be used anymore. If Eva's story hit close to home, if you've ever been the invisible one, the giver who never gets seen, smash that like button and let me know in the comments. Have you ever had to walk away from someone who only valued what you could give them? Subscribe to CrimeFlux Stories so you never miss a story like this one. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. And remember, your kindness is not weakness. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. See you in the next one.